Hey guys, let me get the music off here and get everything started. There we go. So I want to wish everybody a happy New Year. Let me get some of this stuff away from my desk. Sorry, running a little behind tonight. My buddy Chris came over with his Nova, and we got horsing around with it all day, and kind of ate up most of my day. But we had a lot of fun. Yeah, so been trying to get some stuff done. John, man, thanks for Happy New Year. Happy New Year, you too. Yeah, I've been trying to get some stuff going on here. Been working on a Terminator X firmware video. I got the parts for the transmission for the Cup car. Got the parts the other day and put that thing together yesterday. And it's pretty much done. I got video on that. I'm gonna drop a video on the trans rebuild and the shifter rebuild. Although now that it's all hooked up, I see I might need to reshim the shifter a little bit. But that's we'll work on all that. And let's see what else. We got Chuck's truck in the shop. My buddy Chuck's got the OBS 88 Chevy. We sold the engine and transmission for the 54 Chevy we did, believe it or not, almost 3 years ago, and so he's been waiting to get that thing going. Kind of a Saturday project for us, but oh, thanks, John. Yeah, wait till you see some action on this thing shortly on that Nova. It's come out real nice. Chris should be really proud of what he's done. We'll go over a bunch of that here in a minute. Yeah, so I don't have any video on or pictures on the on Chuck's truck quite yet. I'm going to get a little bit farther along, but we did get it on the two-post lift and stripped all the chassis out from underneath it. I got it down to a cab and bare frame. So we got some paint coming for that. We're going to paint the frame and then put all the QA1 suspension stuff on it. We got some big Willwood brake stuff going on it. And then, of course, we'll do the 383 LS twin turbo engine and 4L80 install. We kind of thought we were just going to slap that engine in, but then we were looking at the engine bay and stuff, and really needs to be painted and stuff. So we're going to try not to jump the gun and take our time and get this thing done right. But that'll be coming up. We'll be showing a lot of stuff on that in the future. And then today I had a Corvette come in. I've been kind of dreading talking to this guy. He's a long time customer of DNR, where I used to work. I did a bunch of work on his Camaro, and he has this Corvette, and he's been having nothing but problems with it. And I'm kind of, from conversations, kind of dreading getting the car in. And sure enough, he dropped it off today, and I thought it was going to be I was hoping it was going to be just a nice, quick sniper tune. But yeah, it's got big problems. So I'm going to try to finish evaluating it tomorrow and then figure out a game plan, what we're going to do with that thing. Thanks for everybody that did tune in last week. Sorry we didn't actually have a live show, but my younger brother, he does a Christmas Eve family get-together every year. And, of course, it just happened to fall on Tuesday night this year, so I was unable to do both. And it's something I really didn't want to skip. So unfortunately, I just had to do that little pre-made video. And I thought I had some pictures to show you of the wife's golf cart. We had that decorated for Christmas, but I'll go ahead and we'll go ahead and show that next week. So hope everybody's going to have stays home and stays out of amateur hour tonight for New Year's Eve. Getting on the roads and stuff is crazy at best, but hopefully everybody's gonna have a great and prosperous 2025. I'm hoping so, for our family and for your family. So I guess we'll go ahead and show you a couple of things I'm working on here. I'm trying to get some videos together. So I got look for this video to drop soon. That's going to be the Terminator X firmware update. I think there's a lot of issues. People have problems or afraid to do anything with that. So I think a video is going to be a good thing. And I really am going to try this year, 2025, to get a bunch of more Holley stuff on there. I've been kind of putting it to the side, and I really need to get on it. You know, most of the videos I've seen out there's a ton of videos out there already, but it seems like nobody's really breaking it down piece by piece. So that's what I want to do. I want to, you know, break it down so there'd be, you know, I don't know how many videos it'll end up being, but at least whenever you're having an issue with a Terminator X, a Sniper, HP, or Dominator, you know, you'll be able to go to the video title and pick the one that sounds like it has what you need, and you get to watch just that bit of it, and so that way you can retain the information better. I think when the videos start getting 2 and 3 things involved in the same video, I think it kind of makes it hard to distinguish the procedures that you need to follow to get whatever you're working on done. So we'll see how that works out in the future here. I've been Kenny's on Turbo Jixer, the Devil's Touch Holley firmware update. Yeah. and that's one of the things I want to show, Kenny. If you use the dash or the CAN bus, it's very simple and almost foolproof. When you go use your laptop, it can be tough. I had somebody on Facebook that said something about let me turn my volume off on my phone. They said something about you know, how that's weird. Phone doesn't want to cooperate. Okay. Sorry about that. That, you know, oh, you have to do this, and I got on there and I said, you know, you need to have a full battery. You need to not mess with your with electrical surges in there. And they're like, oh, it shouldn't be that temperamental. But if you ever have flashed OEM ECUs, there's a whole list of do's and don'ts when you flash those stuff. So anytime you're flashing firmware, you want a really steady environment, and that's the one good thing about using the handheld. Chris says, give me a little bit. I'm sending text. Oh, to friends to watch. Yeah, we'll give you a little bit here, Chris. And Kenny says, hey, you have to use the 3.5 screen. Yeah, 3.5 screen, the 5-inch, the 7-inch screen, the 6.86, the 12.3, any of those dashes or the 3.5 screen, it's seamless, the firmware updates and ECU updates. It works great. You can go back and forth. I've got a 3.5 handheld I use just for doing updates. And, you know, I'll update it. I'll flash the firmware for a Sniper, then I'll flash it for a Terminator X, I'll flash it for a Dominator, whatever I'm going to do. So what I've done is I've gotten some SD cards, and I've write on each one what firmware is on that card, so I can just pop them in and do it. Yeah, LT1 ECUs, yeah. That's crazy. Yeah, I you know, hats off to you, Kenny, and my buddy Justin up at Pros for still messing with stock OEM ECUs. I'm so done with all that stuff. You know, all the Ford SCT stuff, and you know, the GM HP tuners, and for sure the LT1 edit. I mean, Kenny remembers at my shop back in the day when we used the LT1 edit. I mean, it was real easy to garble up a tune in the ECU. Luckily, the ECUs were pretty robust. It wouldn't totally. I've never totally trashed one, but I've heard of other people doing it. So it's a little crazy, and but hopefully, you know, these videos, the Holley videos I'm going to start producing, hopefully that's going to help people out. So yeah, newer ECUs are so much better. Yeah, well, I mean, you know, let's face it, computers are, you know, I tell people all the time, you know, when we're dealing with the old Excel DFIs, I got too much stuff around my chair here. The old Excel DFIs, I say, you know, all the ECUs out there will fire the injectors, control your timing, make the car go down the street or down the racetrack, whatever you're trying to do. The difference between the ECUs is what it takes to get to the final product, time-wise and experience-wise. And then, of course, the newer stuff has all kinds of bells and whistles now that you can do that you couldn't do with the OEM stuff back in the day. But I always relate ECUs, you know, people talk about the first earlier generation Excel Gen 6, and you know, I always relate that to an old, and this is going to date me, but the old Atari Pong game. You know, black and white, it just had two little paddles and a little ball that bounced back and forth. That was the whole game, and we thought, oh my God, we got a video game. And then compared to the stuff that's on, you know, PlayStation and other gaming consoles, I don't even know what's out there anymore, but you know, those consoles, I've seen people take the video from the console and it actually looks like, you know, cars. I've seen different ones where cars are crashing into solid objects, and you know, at first you're like, what, is that real? And you know, or cars sliding around racetracks, stuff like that, you know. And obviously the POV ones with the, you know, fighting ones and stuff like that. So I mean, it's the same thing with car ECUs. The technology is grown exponentially, what they can do. I can't wait for the new Holley stuff to come out. Probably going to be the end of 2025, maybe early 26. But I've heard they're, you know, obviously they have to do something. The original Holley platform, the HP and the Dominator, those circuit boards were originally designed back in the early 2000s. So they're already 15, 18-year-old circuit boards. So, you know, obviously you can only go so long. It's the same as the old Excel DFIs. The Gen 7s, when Excel was purchased from MSD, the Gen 6s, or the Gen 7s rather, were already done because the chip that ran the IAC controller had been discontinued for 5 years at that point, and Excel had already bought everything in the world that they could find, so they couldn't even repair ECUs anymore. So that's what happens when you have a older board. You have to redesign the whole thing. So that's what they're getting ready to do too. Kenny says, remember when some of the standalones were only, well, I can't read. Sorry about that. We're only knobs. Yeah, oh yeah. And what about the old Electromotives with, you know, F9, F6As and stuff like that that were MS-DOS, and you know, you had little slide bars you'd move up and down for fueling and stuff at every 500 RPM increments and stuff. It was some crazy stuff back there. And they had the little, like you said, they had the little dials for timing and stuff. Crazy. John says, I really want to upgrade from my Gen 6. Yeah, John, you know, I mean, you know, you can get a Gen 6 working pretty good. Unfortunately, because of the technology, you have to tend to over fuel all the time to keep all the drivability good. But there's still, I mean, think of how robust that system was, that it's still living today, and that was something that was designed in the early 80s. You know, it's crazy how good the stuff was for what it was. But yeah, the new stuff is good. But if you're looking to upgrade in the future, I would hold out until the new Holley stuff comes out, because I think it's going to be really cool, and they're going to have a lot of new things. The good thing is, you know, they're kind of forced into it, in my eyes, for two reasons. One, like I said, the circuitry and the chips and stuff that they use is got to be getting to the point where they're getting harder to get. And two is that, you know, Fuel Tech in racing, Fuel Tech has now become their big competitor, where I myself don't believe the Fuel Tech is any better, but it's got a lot more bells and whistles. So I think it's something that Holley decided, you know, let's go ahead and, you know, do what all the other manufacturers do. We'll take all the competitors' units, test them, see what they do good, and then we'll try to outdo all that stuff. So it really makes me interested to see what happens with the new designs. So I wanted to show you one of the things that Chris and I ran in today is I got to work on my cameras, but I just wanted to show you a little video, and this thing is not edited, and it's still a little messed up, but I just wanted to show you shifting the dog box. So let me switch to that. All right, so we got the trans all together. We got the shifter on. We got the linkage all you can see made up and everything. Not so I thought I'd go through what it takes to shift one of these. Camera there. So, and of course, the shifter was messed up. I still got to fix that shifter. It's still not 100%. That's first gear. Once you get in first gear, it's going to be kind of hard to do this without kind of see. So you go second, third. Didn't come out a second. Got a little problem. You see the shifter's still a little sloppy. So first gear, second gear, third gear, fourth gear, just like that. Yeah, so that was a quick little video, and I got to fix the shifter. I got to redo that. And besides the fact it's blurry, so that's something that I wasn't aware of. The cameras were getting so bad. I'm hoping the build video on the transmission, I haven't had a chance to look at them. I'm hoping the build video isn't blurry on the whole thing. But nice that Chris had come by and we were playing around with his car, and it showed its evil head. Yeah, I see. Kenny says he's a fuel tech hater too. You know, and when I was helping Kenny Hubbard at the what was that, the Snowbirds, and he was a Snowbirds, we had a weird episode in his daughter's car, and I mean they couldn't figure it out and swapped ECUs and all kinds of stuff, and it's like, really? And of course you never know because of editing and all that stuff, but it seems like a lot of the Street Outlaw guys, when they were showing the NPK races on TV and the races out in California, out in the desert where they were doing the street race shootouts and stuff, it seemed like a lot of them were having crank trigger issues and stuff like that, and I don't see that a little bit on what's going on there. I see Chris says the volume's got to come up. I thought I had the volume up pretty good. Yeah, so I don't know what's going on with the volume. I did a test earlier and it seemed like it was down. Let me go up a little bit and see if that helps out. All right, so see if that's any better. So anyway, let me go ahead and we'll go over these pictures of Chris's car. It came up really cool. So he downloaded, sent me a bunch of pictures that for us to take a peek at. So I believe this is when he first got the car. I think it's his wife driving the car, and pretty good looking Nova. Kenny says volume's good for him, so let's see how it works out. So I guess this was he was buffing the paint. One side he buffed, one side he didn't. So these are just kind of pictures he sent. There was the original motor with the original subframe. He got a... Yeah, John, they don't run Phytech, they run Fuel Tech. Phytech is a sniper competitor. They don't really make any race stuff. But Fuel Tech, which is made in Brazil, they're the ones that are doing all the high-end blower cars and stuff like that. They're right next door to Proline race engines in Georgia, Battle Creek. I think it's Battle Creek, Georgia. So yeah, Fuel Tech is the one that does all the race cars. But Phytech and Fuel Tech kind of sound the same, and they kind of get intertwined. But yeah, so this was, I believe, when he first got the car, he took it to a shop, and this is a TCI chassis that he bought and had a shop install for him. So, you know, new subframe, 9-inch rear with trailing arm, rear suspension and stuff. And there's the new subframe. He had the firewall cleaned up, and and he had it painted. There's the looking underneath the car. There's the trailing arm that comes off the rear diff, and that was the original exhaust he had under the car. The 9-inch with the track bar on it. And this was an engine that he purchased. He was telling me at lunch today it actually came from a wrecked Camaro out of Miami, but he got it from Hawks Performance in Texas. And it was actually a LS3 with the forged rotating assembly and the supercharger already installed with a TR6060 behind it. And then the shop that originally did the work, they had the motor and trans installed, doing test fitting and stuff. The car's sitting on the ground. You can see he still has the stripes. That's how I kind of figured out the time frame of these pictures, because he's now removed the stripes. And there's with the front cap back on. I guess that was like around the time it was getting ready to leave the shop, I'm assuming. They had to build a custom console, which that came out really nice, made out of round bar tubing, with the TR56 trans, TR6060, excuse me, on the 5th gen Camaros, the GTOs, and the CTSVs. The shifter is actually body mounted, and it's got a linkage that goes back to the transmission. So they had to build this to hold the shifter. There's another angle, and obviously they had to cut the tunnel to get the trans to fit. It's a big trans for an older car. And then there's the new console after they covered it. And I think that was one of the original fuel tanks he was running with, which later on another guy at another shop cut it apart, and I don't know how good this one worked, but the new design worked horribly. And that's when Chris and I got together and we designed that 22-gallon race stock car fuel cell, which has turned out really, really good. And this is a picture from PBIR when we used to have the autocross up there. So that was back in the day. I see John Roberts' trailer back in the background. But yeah, that was a very cool event, and I'm really sorry that went away. That was a lot of fun. And I'm not sure what this picture was, but I see that the radiator area is still a little different, so this must be before the last go-around with the car. And this was in my driveway tonight. We took some pictures of it, and man, the thing come out really nice. Really good working car, actually. You know, between the work that the shops had done, and then the rework that Chris did himself, which we had a conversation, I don't remember, probably 8-9 months ago, I think it was. Chris could probably tell you better than I can. But, you know, after the last shop, basically had to pull it out of there, worried that the car may get locked in by the landlord or something, just bad issues. I told him, I said, if you can turn wrenches, I can give you the technical help. Why don't you fix the car yourself? A, you'll know what you have, and B, you'll have something to be very proud of because you did it. And, if there's anything wrong, you can look at yourself in the mirror because you're the one that did it. I think it's a good way to go. A lot of people, shy away from it. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of hard work. Chris thrashed on this thing for quite a while. Many times, I don't think he was sure it was ever going to get finished. And of course, these projects never get finished. Here's a good front. He's got an oil cooler down here. He's got a water to air charge cooler up here. He's still got some work to do. I was showing him he needs to put some bracing under here, maybe make a duct to force the air into that oil cooler. But at least the car's on the road now, and now we can start, or he can start finding out where the loose ends are and work through that stuff. But yeah, really good looking car. He's gonna have a lot of fun. It was a blast to drive around today in it. All right, so I didn't want to get into that. We'll show that in a little bit here. I wanted to show you guys we had talking about issues. Let me see if I can figure out some of these videos we had here. Yeah, we had a bunch of these where camera's blurry, there's no sound. I'm like, what the heck? And one of the things that a lot of people that don't do videos is that you do something and it's done. You can't go back and do it again. But yeah, he was getting a real nice burnout and blurry video and no sound. What a waste! It's a lot of rubber going to waste there. It can't get the rubber back. What else do we have here? I think that was the most of it. I wanted to show you this. So we did try to do a couple test videos, as you can see. This was coming back from our last trip in Mexico. Today we got around the place. He got a couple long ones there. But yeah, we had a good time. I appreciate Chris you thrashing your car for me. So I put a little video together. I'm gonna put on the channel, a little walk around video like I do for a lot of the projects that I do. Even though I didn't really do this one, it's still a project I did have some technical advice or engineering consulting I did on that car. So let's see how this works out. All right, so Tuesday Night Live, here's Chris's Nova. We've been talking about this thing for a while, and he's finally got her on the highway. Running pretty good. Dyno 703 at 14 pounds of boost at the tires. Stout ride. It's got a full TCI frame underneath it. LS3 with TR6060 trans. Mini tub. Pretty cool car. Got a little roll cage, custom console, all autometer gauges.
Brake bias.
Oh yeah, had the brake bias there. All the horsepower.
Yeah. So when they first did it, they had it all out, and then I wanted to shape firewall, everything to be flat and very clean. And then as things added to the car, we just started catch cans, the brakes, different catch cans, and things that started taking up space. So we needed to put a few things on that firewall, and it took away from that beautiful finish that they painted for me. But the recent thing was the pulley system. Needed an upgrade the pulley system so the belt don't slip anymore. And Pros Tinting did all that for me, so big thanks to them. And been through the cooling system several times to get it to work, keep the car nice and cool, and added oil coolers in the front. So a lot of additional features put on there that most people don't recognize.
Yes, really nice. All set up for a road course. So you got Willwood, right? Your Willwood. Pedals, yeah. Swing pedals with the reservoirs outside.
Yeah, front, back, and then the clutch.
Got airbox pulling the air out of the inner fender.
Yeah.
Rack and pinion with the TCI chassis underneath it. All the plumbing and stuff all tidied up nice and clean. And the Wagner pulley kit is pretty impressive. All billet stuff, but you look at the size of the crank pulley down there. It's big, and eliminated all the belt slip. This thing was slipping the belt really bad before that. You got the intercooler liquid cooling pump there, oil filter, remote oil filter. That's the reservoir for the intercooler, right?
Yep, that's for the blower. Yep.
Catch can.
Catch can. Oil
Yep.
catch can.
That can over there, power steering.
Power steering. Yep.
Worked out real nice. Got a nice junction block down there now for the battery.
Yeah,
That was,
and everything has a cooler going to it.
yeah.
Power steering, oil, everything.
And that Trans got a cooler on it too, doesn't it?
Trans has a cooler too. Yep.
Yep. Got the radiator tilted forward so you can get good airflow. Hard to see, but cog drive on the supercharger got a nice whine to it. Sounds really good.
Start.
Yeah, go ahead and start it up. Too bad we didn't have smell-o-vision. That E85 smells great. There's a nice 22-gallon fuel cell we've been working on. We talked about this a couple times on the show. Chris had the top powder-coated blue. Really came out sweet.
Misty Midnight's the color.
And you get
Yeah, it's hard to see with that.
with the shadow, but
it really reflects when the sun hits on it. Looks kind of black in the dark, and then when the sun hits, boy, it really shines.
an AC condensers in the rear, which that we were just discussing on our little trip to lunch. That needs some work yet, so we'll figure some airflow for that thing.
Yeah, thanks to George. It looks pretty sweet. It's working fantastic.
Yeah, good. Yeah, so that was a little video we put together. Fortunately, with all the camera glitches that we had, took a little bit of time to actually get enough footage that we could actually put that together. But great car. I'm really happy for Chris that he got the thing going, and I'm sure he's going to get a lot of street use. He's already driven it quite a bit, and get some good track times on the thing. He definitely likes to go road racing with it. So we'll see how. Looks like my microphone might have went dead. Crap. How about now? Is that better? I was just bragging about how long the batteries last in this microphone, and they just went dead, I think. See if that's any better now. I'm showing the sound meter's working, so hopefully that fixes the volume issue there. Yeah, so yeah, what I was saying was, you know, Chris, you should be really proud of your hot rod. You did a really good job with it, and you're gonna have a lot of fun on the road course and cruising around town and stuff like that. And I really appreciate you giving up all your rubber off your rear tires for all of our video redos we had to do. But hey, we found a new place in Mexico to film burnouts at, so I like that worked out well. But yeah, so overall that was pretty good, and hopefully this week I can get some work done on the start building some roll cage for the Vet Hawk, and getting see what I got to do with this Corvette. This thing's looking pretty sad, like it's going to need a lot of work done. Yeah, kind of like the GoPro. Man, I've never had so many issues with a GoPro. If you guys, we went out, you saw in that one video I showed with the black marks over here, and yeah, we filmed a bunch of stuff. GoPro would start recording, and as soon as we started driving the car, it would come up with SD card error, and we messed around with it, and luckily we got what we got. But yeah, camera issues left, right, and center. And then my Canon with the blurry picture. I'm really hoping that the transmission rebuild isn't blurry. That's going to be sickening if all that work doesn't get to be shown. But that's what, you know, that's, I guess that's part of this stuff. Definitely going to have to invest in some backup equipment. I've been looking at getting some more GoPros so that I could do 2 or 3 at a time. That way, you know, if one fails or the battery runs dead or something, which has happened to me a ton of times, you know, you'd have another one filming the same thing, so you could, you know, get, you know, either use different angles if they're all working, and if one fails, at least you still get something. It's one of the things that Chris and I were talking about today. You know, when you're building cars and trying to film it, a lot of times, you know, if equipment fails, you're screwed because you can't redo it. You can't, you know, sometimes if you're fabricating something, I mean, you can't take it all back apart and redo it again. So it just becomes, you know, wasted and stuff you can't use for content. So that's the tough part of it. Definitely a learning curve. I've been doing this for a couple of years now, and I'm still running into issues. I mean, like right now, just the microphone going dead. It's just a lot of crazy stuff can happen doing all this stuff, and then of course editing all the film and stuff like that. The time it takes to get all that done. You know, it is what it is. But you know, I like doing it, and I like getting the stuff out there for you guys to watch and enjoy. Hopefully, you know, we'll see how that all works. I know the that little video I showed of Chris's car, like I call it right now, the walk around video. I got to go back and edit a couple things there. There's a couple of spots where camera's off, you know, at the ground or whatever. So we'll go back and clean that up some. But I just wanted to get something together to show you guys tonight. And one of the benefits of coming to the live shows is a lot of times you guys see a lot of raw stuff that the people that just follow on the channel won't see. So hopefully that kind of makes it interesting, I guess. I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, so we're making progress, and you know, looking forward to the new year. Hopefully, you know, 2025 is going to be a great year for the channel and for projects and stuff like that. Luke Duke Outdoors, howdy, Landis. New subscriber. Awesome. Thank you. I'm a fabricator working on a first-gen Camaro chrome moly front clip. Awesome. Awesome, sir. Yeah, it's a lot of fun, and hopefully we're going to get a lot more fabrication stuff on the channel. There is some of the live shows. If you go back, I haven't gotten the titles straightened out on all of them now, but there's live shows I did some stuff on putting together steel braid AN type hoses and stuff, different tricks to do to make it easier. There's one video about TIG welding on stainless and aluminum. I show to make the stainless not have porosity on the inside of the tubes, you have to purge the components. Building headers and stuff like that, to me, it's kind of tedious to have to keep purging. So I found a product many years ago called Solar Flux. So I did a little on one of the live shows. I did a demonstration of what the Solar Flux does, and it actually works real well, and you don't have to purge anything. So you'll have to go check some of those videos out. And we did a bunch of stuff with wiring too. And there's a live show with hardware, proper hardware and the proper uses. So a lot of stuff for the fabricator. Of course, we do a lot of fuel injection stuff too. That's probably more fuel injection stuff on the site than anything else. If you check out some of the builds, I got my Vet Hawk build on there. There's a part 1 and part 2. That was a pretty heavy duty fabrication deal there. So welcome to the channel. I hope you enjoy it. So yeah, so I think that's all we really had tonight. I didn't really have time to put together a tech section tonight. I apologize for that. If you guys go back and look at some of the fuel cell stuff, that worked out really well. I appreciate it, Luke Duke. Appreciate it, man. Yeah, that fuel cell worked out real good. That was something that I concocted. Chris was looking at my buddy Justin up at Pros Tuning. He's a road racer also, and he came up with a whole bunch of different components that would definitely work. I mean, what he was suggesting would definitely work in Chris's car or any other kind of car, but kind of price point, pretty expensive endeavor. So Chris was telling me about it, and I said, you know, I've had this idea. If you don't mind trying it, let's put it together and see what happens. So we made this interior fuel collection box with trap doors and stuff, actually check balls, but it's worked real well so far. Chris was telling me he's had the tank all the way down to about 1 inch of fuel in the tank, and it still ran without any surging. So really happy that worked out. Really happy that my design worked out properly, and I have to do that to my cup car now. My cup car needs the same thing. I tried something simple and it didn't work, so now I have to go to the next generation, a carbon copy of what I designed for Chris, and we'll get that thing done, and hopefully we'll have the trans installed in the cup car here shortly. And I'm waiting on a center chunk, but I've got a new center chunk to put together for the cup car, so we'll have a 410 chunk and a 370 chunk ready to go. You know, for you guys that aren't familiar with the cup cars, they run full floater axles, so you can just slide the axles out and pull the chunk apart, so you don't even have to take the wheels or the brakes or anything apart. Makes it real easy to change differentials. So and the gearing I have in the transmission now is set up for road course, so second, third, and fourth gears are pretty close ratios together, and it's got an internal pump now, so I've got a couple fittings I'm waiting on, but that way the pump has an internal oiling system, so now with the pump on there, it'll spray oil all over the gear set, so it should help the gears last longer. I don't think in racing like HSR and stuff like that, road racing events, you know, 30 lappers of 30-minute sessions, I don't think the heat's going to be that big of an issue. The biggest thing is just getting fresh, clean lubricant on all the rotating components to keep it. You know, typically a transmission, manual transmission, the cluster shaft picks the oil up, flings it onto the drive gears, and then of course everything's spinning, so it's all flinging the oil back off again. So with the internal pump, it's going to have pressurized oil spraying on the gears to add more oil to the rotating, and of course the direction of rotation, the oil is squirting on just before they go back through contact point to the cluster. So that should work out real well for longevity on the gears, because I've been told, you know, the issue with those gears, even though they've got them, they're REM finished, so they look chrome plated, but once that top surface, which is hardened, and once that breaks, the gears wear very quickly. So hopefully this will make the gears last a real good long time. And so myself and anybody that whenever we find the next owner of that car, they'll have a road race car that they'll be able to race for many years and enjoy without having any issues. So that'll be something we'll be putting together soon. For anybody in South Florida, I want to remind you guys, let me see if I can bring up the shows. We have a couple big car shows coming up in the next 2 weeks. This Saturday coming. Oh, wow, I really went too far with that. Let me see. So we had 2 big car shows coming. Get this file open. So anybody that knows drag racing remembers Daryl Gwynn. He was a Top Fuel top alcohol racer, top fuel racer. His father was a top fuel racer back in the 70s. Daryl ran up into the 80s and 90s, an up and coming racer. Later on, after he had his accident, Mike Dunn drove the car. They're top fuel dragster. So, and they're from North Miami Beach, and then they later moved to Daytona, to Cooper City, Davie area. But anyway, my buddy Eugene has been putting on this full throttle show of shows. This will be the 25th anniversary, and all the proceeds go to originally went to the Daryl Gwynn charity, where he has had a charity, and now it's been taken over, or blended in with Nick Bonacani. So any people with spinal injuries, this is a charity that they work on getting people mobility chairs and stuff for people that can't afford it. And of course, they keep funding spinal rejuvenation work, with stem cell and stuff like that, trying to get it on to where, hopefully some of these people will walk again. So anyway, so this show is in Lighthouse Point. It's a great car show, but this one is more tailored to racing. So as they say on the flyer, over 40 race cars will be there at I think 9 o'clock or 8 o'clock. I don't remember the exact time. We do a startup where everybody fires their race cars up. Typically, we'll have a Top Fuel funny car. Paul Richards is usually there, or I just lost train of thought. My buddy Mike usually will have his nostalgic alcohol funny or nitro funny car there, and they'll fire them up. And then of course all kinds of drag cars and stuff like that. So it's a really great show. It's under the lights at the car dealership, so the lighting, it's like daylight there. And it's a really cool reunion because everybody that used to go to the racetracks, especially Miami, Hollywood, and Palm Beach, it's a big gathering. We all get to hang out and bench race and see people we haven't seen either from the show before or from years before. And last year was rained out, so everybody that's going to be there this year will be from 2022, which was the last show, or 23 rather. So it'll be a great time, and so I just wanted to put that up. Anybody's in the area, it's a great show to go to. There'll be about 400 cars total there. And then the other show, which is the following weekend, which is another great show, is the Cool Wheels car show. And that's in Quiet Waters Park in Deerfield on Sunday the 12th. And anybody who wants to go to those shows, the Sunday show, I've got a section. Joe, the promoter, is setting up. He sets up sections for car show clubs. So he set up a place for us for the LPC, Landis.performance.center car club. So we'll all be able to park together. So if anybody wants to go to that show, get with me. Let me know. Hopefully by before Saturday. That way I can let Joe know what kind of head count we're going to have. John says, I wish you could go. I had a spinal cord injury 4 years ago, and it was a hard road back. Yes, yeah, for sure. Spinal injuries are horrible. And appreciate that. Thank you. Team Infinity, yes, thank you. Yeah, so like Daryl Gwynn, for you guys that may not know, that happened many years ago now. But Daryl and his dad sold one of his old Top Fuel cars to somebody in the UK, and they took it got shipped over to the UK. And one of the deals with the purchase of the car was that Daryl would go over for one of their big meets, and he would do a shakedown pass in this car. So here's an NHRA, top 5 driver, going to come over and do some shakedown runs. And unfortunately, from what I was told, it was just one of those things, when accidents happen, it's just usually a list of oddball things that happen all at once. So the original plan was Daryl was just going to do a burnout and launch the car and then shut it down. And so, unfortunately, from what I was told, he didn't put his arm restraints on because wasn't going to go down the track. He was just going to, maybe get up to 40, 50 miles an hour and no big deal. And I guess during the pass, the car felt good. And maybe he stayed in a little longer than was planned, not thinking, of what could happen, and ended up that the chassis broke in half. And then the driver's cockpit, which was pretty well intact, but it started barrel rolling quite a bit. And obviously, not having all of his safety gear on, his arms came out of the driver's compartment, so he did damage to his arms. And because maybe the belts and stuff weren't right, whatever, he ended up with a spinal injury and has been quadriplegic ever since. So, I mean, that's a life-changing thing for him and for people like that. John says, C3 and 4 cord injury, fell down steps, paralyzed for 8 days. Busted your, to get back to work. Man, congratulations for you for doing that. That could have been life-altering. I mean, I'm sure those 8 days were horrendous. And that's kind of some of the things that you just never know. There's a guy on Facebook, a racer from North Carolina, Dan. Man, I'm sorry, I can't remember his name now. Man, sorry, Dan. But yeah, he had a Pro Mod wreck at the finish line and ended up blind. So I mean, you just never know what can happen. I mean, we do. The automobile lifestyle it can be a dangerous lifestyle. You got to take all the precautions you can. So you just have to be safe out there. But even like John, I mean, just something simple as falling down some steps. You just never know what's going to happen. I mean, how many people have been paralyzed jumping into a swimming pool and maybe, misjudging the depth of the pool? So all those kind of things can happen. And they do a really good job, giving people the mobility chairs. They can't afford them. And of course, they also now are doing, included the Miami Hollywood Hall of Fame now. So they've been inducting about 6 members every year from the old Miami Hollywood Speedway. So it's a good time. If anybody's local, it would be a really great show to go to. And the Cool Wheel Show, like I said, that's going to be a really good show. And the Cool Wheel Show does the same thing at like 2 o'clock or 3 o'clock. They'll fire up a couple of the race cars. And in that car show, they'll get about 1,000 cars at the Cool Wheel Show. So it's a really great car show to go to. Yeah, you're right, Chris. Thumbs up for sure. So anyway, I think that's about all we got for tonight. Thanks for tuning in and watching. Thanks for the new subscribers. Appreciate it. Hope you guys enjoy the content that's on there already, and the more content that's coming. We're going to do some more stuff on the Cup car, and we were talking about the transmission and the rear end assembly and stuff like that. So keep an eye on that stuff, and of course the Vet Hawk. We're definitely going to be getting back on that thing. So got to get the roll cage bent up for that, and it's going to be kind of a multi-purpose car. It's going to be more of a road course roll cage, but it's definitely going to be making some drag race events too. Hey Ryan, how you doing? Happy New Year. Not a problem. I know you're busy painting and buffing on that square body. Can't wait to see that thing done. So I think we're going to go ahead and I wish everybody that's on the channel Happy New Year. Hope everybody stays safe. Enjoy your family. Looking forward to a really prosperous 2025. That's all we can hope for. Remember, hit the like button. Helps the algorithms, and share with your friends. And of course, subscribe and ring the bell for instant notification when we drop new videos. And we'll see everybody next Tuesday night. That'll be episode 77. I cannot believe that we've done 77 of these shows. And for anybody that's listening that hasn't been on the show before, this is something we're doing to kind of do like an open bench racing deal. So I mean, it's I try to put some tech information on the show, but I'm more than happy to if somebody has any tech questions or anything that they want to share, and projects just like Chris's car. I didn't really do much on that car except giving him some information, and he built the car himself. So more than happy to get some video of your car. You can send me pictures, and I'll make a little video, and we'll talk about it on the channel and share it in front of the world. I mean, that's what we all build these cars for, is to have people see them and appreciate them. So with that, I think we're gonna end the show, and basically see you all next year. See ya.